Hey unicorns, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chrissy. Welcome back to the Purple Library and the steady cam hand man behind the camera. So let's do a shelf tour. I mean a room tour. Just come on girl, let's go. Welcome to the library. Always up here with shenanigans and the books and all the stuffies and unicorns. So this is gonna be super exciting. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now. I had to clean it up. It was a lot to clean up, but I figured it out. I cleaned it up. It took me some time. But let's move on. First part of this video is gonna be actually the room tour, and then the second part is gonna be the books. I'm gonna show you every single book. So this is gonna be the introduction of a new series. I don't know how many parts yet, but y'all, I got a lot of shelves, so we'll figure it out. We gonna go on and see what the end gonna be. Papa sad. So when Mr. Librarian and I bought this house, this was a space that we actually shook on and took a bet on, and hey, guess who won it? I did. Alicia, my beautiful baby unicorn. Early apologies for the lighting in here. Certain spots are kind of dark in here, but bear with us. We just learning and growing. So I really enjoy sitting here and having some reading time with whatever unicorn is in my lap. And as you can see, this is my actual ottoman I've had for so many years, and it does kind of match the aesthetic. I didn't plan that, it just happened to be that way. Don't mind all of these books. Your girl is I don't have an answer for that. I really don't have an answer for that, but hey, check them out, huh? These weren't in the haul from last week, but listen, huh? We got some Hob here too. Don't forget her. Unicorn tree. And so it's just so awesome to find like these different unicorn pieces throughout the years, and this really beautiful table that my husband as well bought for me and us years ago. So it's just been awesome. This is one of the 2 bookshelves that I got for Christmas this past Christmas, and so yeah, the Lord is good. And so these are just some of my journals and shelving and things that I have, and different trinkets. Of course, this is the Brandon Sanderson trinket that I got in one of them Brandon Sanderson boxes, child, I don't know. And of course, Mr. Librarian and I. And this is actually something Julie got for me a few Christmases ago, reminding me of my cat Isabel, who's since passed on. So just a wonderful kind of space. And you know, we gotta have our bookish candles because those are very important, and a unicorn because we need them too. This is where all the things happen, where I do pretty much everything, child. And my content planner as well. And so this is just a really nice cozy space, and I really enjoy gaming as well. So this is also my creative and gaming computer. So Sims for life, trinkets and things that friends have gifted to me as well throughout the time. And this keyboard, honey, it has all the we need it. Yes, we do. Yes, it's like, I love this little thing here. It's like my pencil holder. What you call this thing? Unicorn pen. Isn't it lovely? Cutest things ever. And then a shark, because Mr. Librarian, that's his mammal of choice as well. So unicorn and a shark. Then we can't forget the petty pen. The petty pen. We got her too. So of course, like I don't even remember where I actually got this from, but it is a lot of fun, and this is where I put all of my bookmarks in. And I love creative, cute little bookmarks because honey, we gotta have those things. We gotta do our reading too. This is my nonfiction shelf as well. My microphone and hamburger, my C.S. Lewis. I'm actually collecting this collection, so I only have like one more, which is Alana Wish Wardrobe Child. She's only picked that's safe. So yeah, so on this shelf is pretty much all the books that I haven't read for nonfiction, but we're going to get into that a few videos later. But just a pan of the entire shelf. Where it all started, we have Big Boy Elliot. Hey, how you doing? Big Boy Elliot and all his many children, Alvin, Eugene, Ezekiel, Ladybug, all of them, Ava, Renesmee. They all related, don't worry, there's a backstory. But anyway, snuggling and hanging out here as well, and I've grown to really enjoy. And then the pièce de résistance is the bookshelves. Here we are, the purple shelves. And when I organized these shelves, it took me forever because I wanted to do the rainbow shelves, and I thought, I was like, oh, this is gonna be such a great time. And Charlie took me like 2 weeks to do it, and it's not going back. Like, we're gonna keep the colors. Is it efficient to find books? It's not, but it sure is pretty to look at. So that's what we're gonna go for, huh? Do I lose books from time to time? I do, it's fine, it's fine. So this is the corner, also known as the Hob-Sob corner. This is the brick wall. Every time I do a Hob video, I'm over here by the brick because this is the Hob shelf. It's literally my favorite shelf in the library, and I'm currently collecting all the Hob books that I can because why not? This is probably a familiar area, and big girl. She is literally the biggest unicorn. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so over here, of course, this is kind of my miscellaneous corner right here. As you can see, I think I did in my video, and I want to take it down because I got to be careful. This is the Millennium Falcon. Mr. Librarian is an avid Lego builder. He's been building them for years, and you know I love Star Wars. So can we thank the Lord for this magnificent piece of art? Stuffies back here that I usually enjoy. So this is the second and final shelf that I just got for Christmas, and I really am glad I was able to get some more space. And so this is just kind of a miscellaneous, but yeah, this is kind of the overflow shelf for books. So as the books on the main shelves empty out and I unhaul them, I move books from here onto the main shelves. The Brandon Sanderson secret, what was it, oh child, I can't remember, boxes and everything that they would send out. I put this up and I really like it. It really kind of inspires me as well when I'm in here to see Brandon Sanderson and Hob and my beautiful unicorn. The outlay of the library. I hope you enjoy. Up deck, you're probably gonna see Chrissy from the past or the future, child, I don't know. Every single book, starting with the purple, blue, and turquoise shelves, and progressively through the rest of the series to show you every single book. I want to keep count of all the books I haven't read, because I will tell you. Feel free to do that for yourself as well. Oh, hello, welcome to the shelves. Yes, we are getting into it. 1,000 Heartbeats. I love this book. Obviously, it's so purple and beautiful. And yeah, I haven't read it yet. Zyla and Kay. I don't know if that's how you say that. Zyla and Kai, child, by Christina Forrest. Yeah, beautiful cover, beautiful brown girl on the cover, and it's giving the YA. Bearing My Seal. I absolutely love this book. This is a local author in my area, and this is a series of short story essays that she did, and it's literally one of my favorites, and I feel like I want to reread it again. Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer. 5 stars. I read this a couple years ago. One of my favorite books, and I believe it was my first Frederick Bachman that I read. Just absolutely wonderful, and it reminds me of my grandmother as well, and it deals with dementia, and this is a tearjerker. So if you recently have experienced a loss of a loved one, it might be a heavy one for you, but I highly recommend it, and it's really powerful. Fortress of Snow, child, I ain't read this, but it's beautiful. The Crown. I believe this is the final book in the selection series, and yeah, I just finished the one which is book 3, so I'm actually reading The Heir, so this is the final book in that. So but look at this beautiful cover. I mean, the purple, girl, yes. The Queen, Jane Austen, Mansfield Park. Haven't read this yet. Don't know if I'll be reading it this year, but Sensibility, haven't read this one either, but the purple. And Sanderson, Mistborn Secret History. Apparently this is one of the books to read leading up to Stormlight Archive. I haven't read it yet. I think I need to read it though, but we'll see. Good of Never After. I know this is the sequel to the Carvel series, but I don't know which number is which, child. This is one of them books. Series of Unfortunate Events, The Miserable Meal. This is, what book is this? Book 4. I haven't read this one yet, but I probably need to get into it and kind of read it some more. Queen of Exiles by Vanessa Riley. This is a historical fiction based on the Queen of the Exiles, and it's a tome, The Bone Shard War. Andrea Stewart. This is book 3 in Drowning Empire, and so yeah, adult fantasy series. And I'm sorry y'all if I ain't tell y'all what genre these books are in, but hey, we doing what we can. We're going on in faith. We're doing Family of Liars. This is the prequel to the We Are Liars, and it's giving YA trash family drama, and I'm here for it. Brand of Light. This is the Dorisan Saga. Apparently it is a Christian sci-fi series, and the cover is gorgeous. I don't really know much about it other than Brody Man and Girl Who Don't Know Her Destiny. So that's it with that one. Indlewood by Alicia Zavallanos. Beautiful story. Don't really know much about this one either. It's a standalone Christian fantasy series of loss and love and hope, child. Colleen Coble, Edge of Dusk. Yes, I know Mrs. Thomas loves Colleen Coble books, and I think a few of you have read them as well. So let me know what your favorite Colleen Coble book is. Harvest of Gold. This too in the Harvest of Ruby series. I finished it this year. Beautiful series. Tessa Abshar, The Goat, Crown of Feathers. Don't know much about this, but it's giving Phoenix and YA fantasy. Maybe a little merging into adult fantasy, but this is a secular fantasy series from my understanding, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. It's about look like a girl who does know her destiny, who's on some kind of adventure, and she got a really cool bird that she's flying on to figure that out. So it looks great. We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. Series The Summer I Turned Pretty, and my goodness, you guys, I watched the show on Prime, The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it put me in a chokehold. It's definitely giving YA trash. Probably appropriate for adult teenagers, definitely adults though. What are we saying, child? But I don't know what book this one is, but it's one of the books in this series. I plan on reading the books because I think season 3 is coming out. But Sob City, When the Day Comes, you already know. Love this book. This is book 1 in the Timeless series. Eyes Were Watching God, a fantastic classic. One of my favorite books I read from high school. Definitely want to reread it again. Book 2 in the series of Unfortunate Events, The Reptile Room. Ciao. The Blaze of Akatar, Dare, book 1. Let me tell you, this was a fantastic start to a series. Looking forward to finishing it. I think I gave it 5 stars out the gate. It did what it's supposed to do. This is a Christian fantasy, non-magical fantasy series. Kind of the allegory is around kind of Daniel in the lion's den, and it's giving what it said it's supposed to give, and it's giving me a little dash of Fitz chivalry too. So I really enjoyed this series. Yeah. Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd book in the Carval series. I absolutely love this book. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Vanished Queen by Elizabeth Campbell. I only picked this up, child, because it's purple and it's beautiful and it's giving YA fantasy. Girl Who Don't Know Her Destiny, because she running. So yeah, Coming from Lydia by Angela Hunt. I haven't read any Angela Hunt before, but this apparently is supposed to be a Christian historical fiction or biblical fiction. I think. My Lady Jane. Child, I don't know what happened to the cover, but I got it from a used bookstore, and child, I don't know what happened to that cover. I might have just Firefly Diaries. One of the best books I've ever read. This is a Christian mystery story, and it's everything I need. And I did a dedicated book review to this book. Geekerella. This is a Cinderella retelling, and it's just precious. Haven't read it yet. Classic Cinder by Marissa Meyer. Heard so many great things about this. Haven't read it yet. Of Silence by Christopher Racchio. So this is a science fiction space opera. Really want a bigger edition of this, but this is all I could get because I just need to read it. Agatha Christie, The Man in the Brown Suit. We always need another Agatha Christie about a man in a brown suit. I guess he get murdered on a railroad track. Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time last year, and it was really good. Kristen Britton. So this is the 2nd book in the Green Rider series. I actually started the Green Rider series probably last year, if I'm remembering correctly, and it is an adult fantasy series. We're here for it. Anderson, Edge Dancer. I think this is a novella between one of the Stormlight Archive books, I don't know. But once I start Stormlight Archive, I already have the novellas necessary, so I'm prepared. Justin Cronin, The Ferryman. This is the latest Justin Cronin book. I think it came out sometime last year, and I really enjoy Justin Cronin. He is mainly like a contemporary literary sci-fi writer, and his books are so thought-provoking. Boy, oh boy, this is a tome. Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. This is an adult fantasy. I read this last year. Man, oh man, what a ride, what a ride. The Greenbone Saga is literally the best. So definitely check out the content for this. Flamefall. This is the sequel to the Fireborn series. I haven't read it. It's supposed to be a young adult / adult dragon military political fantasy. It's genre bending, y'all. Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Like, I love the Red Rising trilogy. It's one of my favorite science fiction series. This is book 3, the stunning conclusion. Highly recommend. Check that content out though, but it's fantastic. Justin Cronin, The Passage. This is book 1 in the Passage series. I read this 2018, 2019, sometime around then. Fantastic. Really enjoy Justin Cronin. This book is a ride. The whole series is a ride. Highly recommended. Mortal, The Books of Mortal by Ted Decker and Tosca Lee. But y'all remember those old Barnes and Noble tags, but let me move. Christian adult fantasy series, and I highly recommend it. The Bible allegory is fantastic. I really want to reread this series again. The Edge of Apocalypse by Tim LaHaye and Craig Parshall. This is book 1 in the End series. It is a Christian end times military and political thriller. High stakes, very intense, biblically sound. One of my favorites. I reread it over and over again. Fantastic. Highly recommend if that's your bag. The Adventures of Amina Al-Safari by Shannon Chakraborty. This is a adult fantasy seafaring tale. That's all I know. I didn't get it from Book of the Month. I got it used. Okay, let me just put that caveat out there. But I'm looking forward to checking it out. Adult fantasy on deck. Zero G's Part 1, The Armor Eternal. This is a Christian sci-fi book, and it's one of my favorites. It's So Dark and Lonely. Haven't read this yet, but I've heard fantastic things about it. The Last Contempt cover. Haven't read this yet. Sapphire Blue, the Ruby Red trilogy. I believe this is book 3, if I'm not mistaken. YA time travel, girl who don't know her destiny. A Bad Beginning, a series of unfortunate events. I read this book 1, I believe, in the series of unfortunate events. I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Of my Chuck Black books. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just 4 books in the series. Still have these 2 left, and man, I definitely hope to catch up on this series later this summer. Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This is a novella in between one of the Starlight Archive books. I don't know. Fox by Nadine Brandes. Oh my goodness, I really enjoyed this. This was my first Nadine that I read. I gave it 4 stars. Fantasy, historical fiction, very genre bending. King's Blood, Raised a Shepherd, Born a King, is a biblical retelling of King David. It's indie published. I haven't read it yet, but if you get to it before me, let me know. Housekeepers by Alex Hay. Haven't read this. It's giving closed door mystery. I Found You by Lisa Jewell. This was my first Lisa Jewell that I ever read. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3.5 stars or 3 stars on Goodreads. Lady on a Beach, Folks Don't Know, all the things. Lisa Jewell is one of my favorite thriller authors. And you already know. You already know. Book 3 for a lifetime. Timeless series. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Oh my goodness. Shadow and Bone, literally one of my favorite YA series. I think I gave this 4 stars. My Baby Girl Honest June by Tina Wells. Love this story. This is a fantastic series. This is book 1. Gave it 5 stars. The Hidden Prince by Tessa Afshar. One of my favorites from 2023. Highly recommend this one. Tessa Afshar's books are fantastic. Wistress. Just Effect is Still Real believe this is my favorite book from 2022, if I'm not mistaken. And man, it was fantastic. Nuanced, refreshing, YA/adult Christian fantasy. It's just a fantastic story. I did a dedicated book review, and Wisher's Chokehold was so real. Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. This is a science fiction, I guess, New War classic in a way. I haven't read this yet, but I've heard great things about it. Extant. She is an indie author local to Virginia, and I saw her book at paperback. I think this series is concluded. I picked this book up a few years ago. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I really like finding new indie local authors that I can dig my teeth into for their books, and so this looks like a good one. Moving Finger by Miss Agatha Christie, a Miss Marple mystery. Agatha Christie books are just a great time. I think I gave this 4 stars. This is actually one of my favorite Agatha Christie's. I really like the main character and the heroine in this. It was great. Ink and Bone by Rachel Kane. This is the Great Library series. I don't really remember much about this. I haven't read it, but Libraries Mystery, say less. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I have not read any Erin Morgenstern yet. I've heard fantastic things about her books. I actually have The Night Circus, but that's on the red shelf. But I'm looking forward to reading her books. Drama. The Housemaid. Yeah, I got it. I want to get one off. This author has since have quite a few of her books released here in America. And so I'm really looking forward to reading more of her books. Upgrade by Blake Crouch. Y'all already know Blake Crouch is my guy. This is his latest work, and I really enjoyed it. I give it 5 stars. Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. This is a book of collected works of poems. Highly recommend. Singapore Sapphire, Harriet Gordon mystery series. I actually was recommended this from one of my friends from Goodreads. Counting with the Stars by Colin and Cassette. This is one of my favorites. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. This is book 1 in the Out of Egypt series. Gave it 5 stars. Highly recommend. Gathering Blue by Lois Lowry. I love the Giver series, one of my favorites. This is, I think, book 2. I want to reread it actually. So, The Mammoth, The Way of Kings. No, I have not started the Stormlight Archive, but I need to. DOG, Redeeming Love, Francine Rivers. I'm gonna get to it, y'all. I'm gonna get to it. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I absolutely love this book. I read it every year for winter. One of my favorites. Highly recommend. I Must Betray You by Rita Zapata. I haven't read this book, but I've heard great things about it. Pillars of the Earth. Listen, I read probably 20% of this book like in 2018, and then I put it down. So it does have a soft DNF on my shelf, but that's okay. Ken Follett, historical fiction. Everyone's heard about his books. I'm looking forward to reading it because I think how they built cathedrals is absolutely fascinating. How they erected these grand structures. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what Ken Follett brings to the forefront of his books. Noah, Man of Destiny, the Remnant Trilogy, book 1. This series is actually, as you'll see, go through the shelves. I actually got this book when my husband and I went to the Ark Encounter last year, and it was just incredibly fascinating. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I think this is a biblical retelling. Ananka. This is a contemporary family dynamic story. It's been on my shelf for a few years now. It is on my TBR for this year. Haven't read it yet. Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Bussey. Really enjoyed this book. 4 stars. I'm looking forward to continuing the series. I just picked up book 3 on a haul. So I'm hopefully I can check it out soon. The Sword of Kaigan, one of my favorites from last year. This is an adult fantasy standalone, and it has high stakes, war battles, family dynamics, romance, but not that much romance because it's an adult fantasy, but you know. The Ember Blade. This is a adult fantasy series on a quest, kind of reminiscent of a modern Lord of the Rings. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this. I've heard great things about it. I actually let's just pull this one off the shelf too. This is book 2 in that series, The Shadow Casket. I don't know anything about these series. I'm looking forward to diving into them. And hopefully I think book 3 should be coming out at some point as well. So I kind of like collecting the series, and then when I'm ready to dive into them, I ain't got to be in a chokehold. You know what I'm saying? It's book 3 in the Remnant Trilogy, Man of God. Tokyo Ever After. Y'all know I had to have a little YA trash on my shelf. It wouldn't be my shelf without it. Swim Team. I love this book. I read this earlier this year. Fantastic. About a little girl who don't know how to swim, and she overcomes her fears and makes great friends. Just a fantastic story. The Plot by Jean Hoff Corlitz, doing a buddy read with Laura. Fantastic. I hope to. This is one of the books on my 2024 TBR. The Selection. If you know, you know. Okay, yeah, I reread the series again. Fantastic. I love this series. Such a great time. Fish in a Tree. Yeah, might be my favorite book of the year. The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book 2 in the Inheritance Games. I finished it earlier last year. It's a good time. It's just a good old YA trash time, child. The Boy, the Fox, and the Horse. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and I read it in winter. I highly recommend. It's just a great for all ages, a source of encouragement. I really enjoy it. Time to Speak by Nadine Brandes. This is book 2 in the Out of Time series. I haven't read this series yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It is a Christian fantasy series. That's all we need to know. Probably a bit YA leaning too. The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. Y'all already know. I've heard a lot of amazing things about this book. Like, low-key, I kind of want to read this one before Redeeming Love. Y'all don't come for me. Don't come for me, y'all. Stay With Me by Becky Wade. Y'all already know. I just finished this. Great time. I highly recommend. It's a great Christian romance. Not many romance on the shelf, but this one up here. A Time to Die, book 1 in the Out of Time series. The Bone House by Stephen Lawhead. This is book 2 in the Bright Empire series. I finished book 1 last year, which is The Skin Map. I highly recommend. Christian adult fantasy, whimsical, twisty, turny. I'm here for it. Dust by Kara Swanson. This is book 1 in the Heirs of Neverland. This is a Christian fantasy as well. Retelling of Peter Pan. Guy Gavreau Kay, All the Seas of the World. I haven't read any Guy Gavreau Kay. This is an adult fantasy standalone novel, and I'm looking forward to it. I've heard some mixed reviews about Guy Gavreau Kay, so I'll see where it lands for me, child. The Light of Eden by Karen Hancock. This is book 1 in the Guardian King series. I haven't read this series before, but I've heard a lot of amazing things about it. This is a YA fantasy series, kind of alluding to Arthurian retelling legends. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. Let me just tell you, this is my favorite Agatha Christie that I've read, period. Agatha Christie that you haven't read, read this one. The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bynum. I haven't read this, but this is a wonderful Christian allegory classic. Love and a Little White Lie by Tammy L. Garay. Haven't read this, but I'm looking forward to it. Again, we don't have many romance books on the shelf, but hey, we got a few here and there sprinkled in. The 13th Tribe. This is giving fantastical adult Christian genre bending. Frank Peretti blurbed it, so it has to be good. Looking forward to checking it out. Sally Hepworth, The Soulmate. I read one Sally Hepworth so far, and I just picked up The Darling Girl, so looking forward to reading The Soulmate. I've heard good things about this one. Child, Words of Radiance, book 2 in the Stoneline Archive. I ain't read the first one, so you know I ain't read this one either. Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I have heard very good things about this series. I think this is book 1 in the Beartown series, I guess you would call it, about a small town in hockey and all the things that occur. Let me know if you've read Beartown. Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Shadow and Bone series. I think I gave this 4 stars. A really good second book. I mean, do I even need to say anything? In this moment, book 2, the Timeless Trilogy. I mean, this one made me weep and sob and weep again. Touched my heart so deeply. Love this book. The Bone Shard Emperor, book 2 in the Bone Shard. What is the name of the series? This is book 2 in this series, and of course I haven't read it, but I'm looking forward to it. You already know Children of the Dune by Frank Herbert. This is book 3 in the Dune series. There are 8 books in the Dune series. I've only read 3 because I can't get past this one. This is like the Pied de Resistance. Firebreak. This modern day tech thriller, and I'm here for it. End of Days. This is book 3 in the Chronicles of the Brothers series. This Christian end times spiritual warfare military political thriller. Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. I believe this is a sequel or companion novel to The Family Upstairs. I read this book nor the first book, so looking forward to it. Lisa Jewell is one of my favorites. A Brutal Justice by Jess Corbin. This is a Christian fantasy of the world. So much about it, but it seems to give a lot of mystery and intrigue. Girl who don't know her destiny. The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp. I have heard so many amazing things about this book. I'm looking forward to reading it at some point. I don't know if it will be this year, but maybe I can squeeze it in. We'll see. Unica, What Is Your Husband? This is a contemporary fiction about Unica and why she ain't married, child. And that's all we need to know. Well, why you ain't married, girl? Her mama want to know, her aunties, her sisters want to know why she ain't got no husband. Oana, Out of Order. I've heard very interesting things about this. This is a contemporary magical realism about Oana, and she wakes up every day throughout her life at a different point in her life, and the shenanigans she gets into and wondering why she wakes up all out of order, child. This is, I believe, book 2 in the Arthur series. I think that's the name of this series, child. I don't know. Historical fantasy, written by Bernard Cornwell. He is very well known for historical fantasy books. I haven't read this series yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Live and Let Child. I absolutely love the Seaside Cafe mystery series. I read this, I think, last year or the year before last. It was a great time. This is definitely a cozy mystery set in the Eastern Shore, Outer Banks area, and so I'm local to this area and settings in this book, and I really enjoy it. Green Rider by Kristen Britton. I am really enjoying the series. I've only read this book. This is the first book in the Green Rider series. Girl Who Don't Know Her Destiny and All the Adventure, The Line Tender. This is a middle grade coming of age story about a girl who works at an aquarium and how much she loves sharks and wildlife. You saw from the beginning Little Women. I have not read Little Women yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it at some point in the future. I've heard so many amazing things about this classic tale by Louisa May Alcott, and this edition is absolutely stunning. Just Legends of Avalon, Merlin by R.E.S. This is an indie YA Arthurian retelling, and I'm here for it. Thunderhead. I don't know if this is book 2 or 3. I believe this is book 3 in the Scythe series. This is a YA dystopian sci-fi book, and it follows the tale of the Scythes. Pachinko. Oh, I really love this book. This is one of my favorites. This follows 100 years of a South Korean family and all the family dynamics and how they journey and grow in provision and in love for one another, the complexities of it. But definitely check out those content warnings. I recently just talked about this book in one of my videos, so definitely check it out. Not Summer Without You. Listen, The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think this is the second book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series, child, but I don't know. I'm about to find out because I need to know why it's not summer without her, okay? Tide and Punishment by Brie Baker. I read this past Christmas, I believe, and it was a hoot. Did I graciously skip over book 2? Yes, because I didn't have book 2, child, so we gonna read what's on our shelves. Ain't that what we supposed to be doing? The Blue Castle. This is one of my favorite books from last year. I thoroughly enjoyed following Valancy and her coming of age and falling in love, and it's just fantastic. 5 stars. Highly recommend The Blue Castle. Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie. Haven't read this, but this cover is giving what it's supposed to give, child. A Wind in the Door. This is book 2 in the Wrinkle in Time series. Not sure when I will pick it up. I've heard very interesting things about the remainder of this series. We'll see where it all ends. I feel like when I was younger, I read the first 3 books, but I can't remember, so it's a perfect time to do a reread. A Pale Horse by Wendy Alec. This is, I believe, book 1 in the Chronicles of the Brothers series. The 3-Body Problem. This is a sci-fi novel. I believe it is a series and it's a translated work by Ken Liu, and I'm looking forward to it. I haven't watched the show. I really don't plan on watching the show. It just depends on how I like this book, but hopefully one day I can get to it. Messenger by Lois Lowry. I believe this is book 3 in the Giver series. So I'm looking forward to rereading this, and this edition is just absolutely beautiful. Last but not least, Roman numerals, and I'm about to sit here and Google and try to find out what Roman numerals. We just need to know that they on a turquoise shelf. Yeah, these are 2 books within the Everworld series. The Everworld series it was marketed in the 90s as a middle grade fantasy series, but upon rereading the first few books, it's definitely more YA, a lot more heavier themes in the book, so definitely more YA appropriate, dated itself, but I'm really enjoying reading through the series. Yeah, these covers are wild. Unicorns, that concludes part 1 of the library tour. Much fun filming this and realizing how many books I have read and what shelves I've actually read more on. I read a lot of the blue books already. Purple, child. Let me move. Stay tuned to the channel. Be the next section, which is the green, yellow, and red shelves. Thank you so much. When we first filmed this in this room, I definitely had to do special lighting and things like that because this room is has dark spots in it. So thank you so much for bearing with us as I'm learning and growing and figuring out how to film in different spots in this space. But I am just so overjoyed to finally do something like this on the channel. I've been biting at the bit to do this, and so I hope you enjoy. However your TBR expanded, ain't got nothing to do with me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. May the Lord bless and keep you, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Part 2 on deck. Part 2 on deck. Part 2 on deck.